Okay, so I'm not a big fan of using this public forum to bash companies. There's usually more to any story, and I have friends working at many of these audio companies who I know are generally striving to make a positive impact. That being said, what the fuck is going on at Antares? Over the past few months, Autotune has been completely unreliable. And almost every session I get, the settings either reset entirely or the key appears in italics, indicating it's applying correction, but it is from a completely different key, which, as you can imagine, sounds terrible. I then have to manually reset each Autotune by changing the key to a different one and then switching it back to the correct key to fix the issue. This is especially frustrating when working with a 40-track vocal session. To make matters worse, if you close and reopen the session, you have to go through the entire process again. The only workaround is to freeze the tracks or convert them to audio to avoid dealing with Autotune altogether. And this isn't DAW specific. I've had this issue with Pro Tools, Studio One, and Logic. Another issue I've encountered is with AutoKey, a plugin I use to detect the key and tempo of a song. However, about 50% of the time, activating it in Studio One causes the entire program to crash. I then have to relaunch Studio One, and while it usually activates fine on the second try, there are instances where it crashes again before finally working. I've had this happen in Pro Tools as well. At this point, you might be thinking, well, Matty, maybe this is an issue with your computer causing this. I had the same thought. I'm using a new M4 MacBook Pro, and it's true that the latest computers can sometimes have compatibility issues with certain software. However, this is not the case here. I'm on a chat with all of my engineer friends, all using different computers and different operating systems, and all of them are having the same exact issues I am. So I knew that wasn't it. So I did what anyone else would do. I reached out to tech support, and they replied really fast, within a day or so. And they said, "Hi there. Thank you for reaching out. Please send us a short video demonstrating the issue so we can investigate further." Quick note, do you see the signature in the email? It kind of reminds me of what Autotune looks like when you open it. Anyway, that's exactly what I did. I even forgot to include the video link, and they quickly responded pointing it out. I replied with, "Oops, you're right," and sent the link. That was on February 4th. It's now February 21st, and I still haven't heard back. I guess I'm not alone in that either. Many of my friends have tried reaching out and hit a dead end once they described the problem. So with no answer, this is my theory on what is wrong. If you remember about 3 or 4 months ago, Antares made a big announcement about switching back to iLok, presenting it as this big revolutionary change. It didn't seem to generate much excitement, likely because most people don't like iLok either. However, many users were reportedly experiencing issues with the license system they had been using before. For the record, and to be fair, I personally had no issues with the previous licensing system. But that's where things started to go wrong. I think the switch to iLok somehow messed up their plugins. Maybe it's because some users are still on the old licensing system while others have migrated to iLok. I'm not sure, but if I had to guess, that's likely where the issues stem from. And from the lack of replies from tech support, I don't think they have the answer either. So what do? I'm doing what I've been telling people to do for the last few years. Stop using Autotune and switch to Slate Metatune. It works just as well, if not better, never crashes, and when they update the plugin, they don't rename it. So you won't have to buy a new version just to open a session if someone sends you one using the latest update. It's also much cheaper. Metatune costs $199, while Autotune is an outrageous $459 for a plugin that will likely become obsolete in a few years when they release, you guessed it, Autotune 12. Alternatively, you can get the Slate subscription for $20 a month, which includes not only all the Slate plugins, but all the SSL plugins as well, compared to the Antares subscription, which is $25 a month, which gives you basically Autotune and a bag of bricks. So those are my thoughts on the situation. Let me know yours in the comments below. And as usual, if you need any help mixing or mastering your next project, hit me up. Talk soon.